My name is Louise McDougall and I'm a resident of the Tahuna Holiday Beach Camp, and although this is my personal story concerning that, it reflects the very real concerns of many people that also live there and are facing this sudden potential dilemma. So I've lived at the Tahuna Motor Camp along with 115 other people for 12 years. And it is a great community, the best place I've ever lived in. I have worked most of my adult life in rest home care and more recently 15 years in residential disability under the umbrella of Te Whatu Ora. As I neared retirement age, I began seriously considering how I would live on superannuation without wages. At the time, I was renting a granny flat behind the cathedral, and the rent was going up as it does, but nowhere near the rents of today. My father always told us to work hard and own our own place by the time we retired, but that didn't happen for me, even though we attempted to pay mortgages off over the years. My first husband died, and a lengthy second marriage was unsuccessful, so I ended up with less than what I started with, both money and a home. Often over the years, the thought of living in a caravan had popped into my mind, and as I contemplated how I could afford to live on superannuation, I began to see caravans for sale as I regularly walked the beach and through the camping ground. I hadn't been aware of the residential area of the camp, and any mention I'd heard of it over the years was along the lines of, "It takes years to get into that place, they all stay there until they die." So I was very excited to see a property for sale. I could circuit the long waiting list. After my offer was accepted, I was required to go to management to request permission for the purchase and intention of living in it where it was, which was granted. My new home had an awning I knew would not last the distance I was intending, so I decided to have an annex built to replace it. My builder drew up a plan to present to camp management, which was taken by them to a council meeting and accepted by council, but signed by camp management. After a couple of months, it was built and attached to the caravan. I was very happy with it. Next, I decided to build a deck, and again a plan was submitted to management and signed by them. I have these signed documents. Permission to install a macerator toilet was requested and again given. Borders were put around the hedge and outdoor tiled areas laid with permission and considerable expense. My home gradually evolved into what it is today, a very comfortable and warm unit. I've always been careful to go along with camp management because I didn't want to sink money into something that may have to be removed if I didn't comply. At no point did I ever fear the ground under my feet being closed down. I had a sense of stability that I believed would continue until I was no longer able to sustain it. This is the general opinion of the people who live there, and it obviously gave us great peace of mind. When I applied to management to buy my property, no mention was made of this likelihood, and permissions granted to develop my place confirmed that in my mind. I am living within my means like everyone else in this community. We are not burdens on society. We are contributors to the development and maintenance of Tahuna Beach Camp financially. At this point, I sincerely thank Nelson City Council for making this possible. To live within our means is to live with a sense of dignity, and I maintain my faith in the Council for this to continue. A seismic shock rippled through the entire community when we learned of the airport's statement implying we are living here illegally. Like rabbits caught in the headlights, we had nowhere to run to, and many people are greatly distressed and frightened. The greater majority, including myself, have no idea where or how we will live after building our homes and lifestyles at Tahuna Beach Camp. Some have been there for 20 plus years. We are very puzzled about suddenly being illegal, if indeed we are, after well over 20 years of existence. There are many elderly people who have no means of paying the market rents for housing. If this residential area should close, we will not be able to recoup our financial outlay if we are unable to sell our properties where they currently are.
Hear, hear.
Instead, it will cost us a lot to remove them, with nowhere to put them. Then we will most certainly become burdens on society, not because we want to, but because we have no alternative. Rather than seeing the airport extend its runway north, I would much prefer to see the residential area of the camp secured and extended to meet some of the critical housing needs. Tahuna Beach Camp has served people for nearly a century, but there is a lot of land not being used most of the year. Even if it meant cutting back on holiday makers a little during the busy season, surely a tiny home village would meet immediate needs more than an extended runway would. There is a far greater need to look after people with those critical housing needs than bringing more people into our city. There has to be a reasonable balance where everybody is a winner. Thank you very much.